Yeah, so all this cancel culture stuff has gotten quite trite, to be frank. I mean, if you're offended, don't watch it. If you don't like it, you can just leave. Like,
You're not funny!
oh yeah? Well, neither are you. You know what you should do? You should just women, am I right?
You're a misogynist.
I'll show you a misogynist. Oh my god. What? What happened? No. No, please don't. No. Get back!
Women are stupid and unfunny. Cancel me!
No.
What?
No.
No. Come back. Please, no. Come back.
Dark humor, comedy, men, misogyny, all things that I have covered in detail on this channel, and all things that I personally partake in. As a self-proclaimed starving comedian, I would like to say that I have a decent understanding of comedy. At least enough to know when something is funny or not. A very objective standard that does not change from person to person. By the way, you're either funny or unfunny, and I am the decider of that. Matt Rife, as a self-proclaimed good-looking guy,
I'm good looking.
Just testing the waters, want to see if y'all are gonna be funny or not. You know, I figured we'd start the video with low blows and then the rest should be pretty smooth sailing from then on.
has recently been in some controversy for his new Netflix comedy special, Natural Selection, a term that Matt will become quite familiar with over the next few weeks. There can be only so many cis straight men in comedy. Actually, no, there can't. Whatever happened to population control? Jokes aside, see, that is what we call jokes. Today I'll be getting into Matt Rife's career leading up to his most recent stand-up special on Netflix, the current controversy surrounding Matt within that special, and a discussion around misogyny in comedy that I think is prevalent to this situation. Before you leave a comment, try watching the video first. There's a little heads up, a little life tip for you. Before opening your mouth, maybe listen. I don't know. Think before you do. It's the least you can do. Thank you, and God bless. Let's get into it.
After a certain point, you go, am I delusional? Like, maybe I'm not funny. Maybe I'm not supposed to do this. And then just one random video kind of changed everything.
How could he say something like that? Cancel Matt Rife.
I am honestly going into this video quite unbiased, since before hearing about this controversy, I had no idea who Matt Rife is. I had maybe seen a clip or two of his on Twitter spread around like a wildfire. Like everything on that app, it's slowly burning down. My candid first reaction to the infamous opening joke was shock and disgust. We'll get into that in a little bit. But first, let me fill you in a little bit on Matty Boy, or Matty B as I like to call him. Matt currently has over 18 million followers on TikTok. He's probably the most followed stand-up comedian on that app right now. He got fame mostly from his crowd work, which is pretty much the only kind of clips that he posts on social media.
No. Was he gay after? I know the lighting's not great back there, but were y'all homeschooled?
I'm not harping on him for it. Crowd work clips generally do better in the algorithm, but let's be honest, if your stand-up was stellar, your regular jokes would probably do well too, since they would elicit a response of laughter, which goes something like this. That's for all the Zuckerbergs and Bezos out there who need a refresher on human emotions. Matt is really good at crowd work. I'm not gonna deny that from him. He is quick and witty, and I personally laughed out loud. Lols, you could say. To a few of his clips while researching for this video. His comedy would say, in some instances, is a bit more on the edgier side, but nothing too extreme or out there to where the majority of his fan base would find it deeply offensive. Matt has been doing stand-up for over a decade, but earlier this year, he really started to blow up on TikTok. That app is a blessing and a curse. Mostly a curse. Over the next few months, Matt Rife, 27, racked up 15.56 million followers. The online success allowed him to leap ahead of his fellow club comics, making him a significant draw. When he announced his problematic world tour, last month he sold out 260 dates in North America, Europe, and Australia in 48 hours. The flurry of sales, 600,000 tickets in all, each ranging from about $50 to $95, according to Live Nation, crashed the Ticketmaster website. Some resale tickets cost more than $500. Jesus, what the fuck is this, Taylor Swift? Oh my god. Although Mr. Rife, why are we referring to him as Mr. Rife? What the fuck? This article. Why? He's a comedian, okay? Just call him Matt. Mr. Rife. Oh. Although Mr. Rife has developed an easy stage manner thanks to the countless hours he has spent at the mic, his popularity may have as much to do with his cheekbones as his comedic chops. Tall and strikingly handsome with blue eyes. Alright, who wrote this article? Someone was jerking themselves off while they were writing this. With blue eyes, a chiseled jawline, and full lips. Alright, come on now. What else? And a humongous penis. That's besides the point. He's still good at comedy, though. Matt Rife is something rare in the comedy world, a heartthrob. Yeah, because everyone else in the industry is a fugly motherfucker. Not me, though. So, I'm the exception. That and Seth Rogen. Please call me. I've DM'd you about 200 times on Instagram. I don't know why you haven't picked up. So, seriously though, Matt's looks have been under harsh scrutiny during his very short internet famous career, right? Matt denied having any work done other than his veneers in an Access Hollywood video.
Biggest lie you've ever read about yourself?
That I've had plastic surgery. That's the funniest thing in the entire world to me because puberty hit me so late. Like I didn't look like this until I was like 23.
Oh, so they thought your glow up was
Oh my god, everyone's like, oh, he's got cheek fillers, he's got his lips done.
That's hilarious.
Whatever jawline surgery is a thing, I guess.
Yeah.
He claims that he was a late bloomer and just recently, during his mid-20s, he had a glow up. That's what working out will do to you, apparently. Just change everything about you, I don't know. A lot of people are skeptical of Matt saying he has only had his veneers done, though, claiming that he's had fillers in his jaw and other parts of his face, I mean.
At the front, he obviously found a spray tanner that he loved. The bridge of his nose from then to now looks a little bit higher and more narrow, and the tip looks more refined. His cheekbones look considerably more full, more prominent, especially the apples of his cheeks, and people speculate that he had buccal fat surgery and some filler to enhance them. From a side view showing where he started down here, and then him throughout the years, you can see there's obviously an elevation to his cheek.
Honest to God, I don't give a shit whether Matt has had work done. I'm not sure why this is a constant obsession that people have with celebrities. Does she have a BBL or not? I don't care! Yes, she does, but I don't care. I suppose that in Matt's case, people allege that he got more work done so that he would gain more popularity in the comedy scene, which sounds like horseshit to me. Because as that article previously stated, Matt is voluptuous and beautiful while other comedians look like fucking piles of dog shit. So I don't really think it matters if you're good looking. Seriously, have you seen comedians? Some of us, not me. Some of us, not me, are ugly. The thing is, people just want you to be funny. People don't really, if you could crack a joke, is pretty privilege a thing? Sure. But I think it matters less in the comedy scene, just being honest. You're getting up there and you are talking, when you first start stand-up, you're probably talking to 5 people and none of them are laughing. Do you think any of them care what you look like? No. Matt personally, though, has played a lot into his looks, quite a lot during his stand-up. He's played his looks to his advantage. A black and white glossy photograph on his website shows him shirtless and tattooed in a bad boy pose. What the fuck does that mean? What's a bad boy pose? What's that mean? His hair is always artfully tousled like that of the boy band. Who the fuck wrote this? He wears rolled up t-shirts on stage that show off his toned biceps, his beautiful bulging biceps. And I'm not looking at any other bulge. His fans tend to be young and female. They shout out to him, ply him with gifts, and regularly proposition him. You know what, I'm usually really good with words, and that just made me sound like a total dumbass. I'm so sorry. I swear to God, I'm not stupid. His club dates are often, ruckus events, more with, that's not how you say that, I know, I'm sorry. More Magic Mike than Comedy Central presents. Okay, what the fuck kind of comedy show are you going to? Okay, what? I'm gonna whip my dick out on stage. That's my set. That's not my set. What my sets consist of. Let me guys know, you guys want to see that or not. He titled his first YouTube special, OnlyFans, he has said, because people were searching Matt Rife OnlyFans on the internet to see if he had an account on the adult-themed website. The clickbait worked. The show garnered more than 8.5 million views. Wow. He also has 2 other specials that are on his YouTube channel right now. So, just want to say that. Matt Rife said his sex appeal, like his career surge, is relatively new. He described himself as a late bloomer, and indeed, photos from a few years ago show a gangly-looking youth whose strong jaw, high cheekbones, and Jagger-esque lips had yet to coalesce into a pleasing whole. What is with... Journalists just be throwing words in there. They're like, what can we put in here to make this sound like I'm not writing the same thing as everyone else? I was so ugly for so long, Matt Rife said on his OnlyFans special. As a result, he continued, I spent the first 22 years of my life building a personality. For what? You think I need to be funny now? Oh, it just hurt my neck. I say the same thing. Do you guys think I need to be funny now? I don't think so. I think I'm quite attractive, actually. They could just say, come on here and say anything. Later, hosen, and everyone will laugh. Another bit that Matt has done a couple of times is this bit where he would unbuckle his belt with one hand, clearly alluding to sex! A delicious slurpy BJ and cummy. I'm so sorry that those words just came out of my mouth.
You drove 3 hours to see me? Oh my gosh, that's $900. That's $900. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh my God. God damn. I'm so that's crazy. Oh my God. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Sorry. You might be asking yourselves, why the fuck are you bringing this up? Well, this ties heavily into Matt's recent rebrand. Recently, Matt has been discouraging the thirsting that people, largely women, put on toward him.
I don't think I could see a video of you on my For You page for like an entire year without that being like
without the search bar saying Matt Rife undoing.
And it would have nothing to do. I could be talking about my dead dad, and they're like, Matt Rife takes his belt off with one hand. Dad hangs himself with it. Like they went,
oh my God.
Like it was all over the place for something that had nothing to do with it. It was so funny.
Yeah, that is funny.
So yes, I get
now
sexualized
I'm just thinking about your dead
often.
dad.
I would enjoy it if like people were sexualizing me that much. I feel like I'd be like, oh my God, me?
No, if you want to be respected in a different field, you can't have that. And that's honestly,
I feel like that makes us more respected in our particular field.
Yes, you see, you get that benefit.
Keeps the lights on.
I'm like trying so hard not to have that be a part of me.
Would you
It's
ever
get
make
ugly?
an OnlyFans?
I'm trying.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Look how I'm dressed.
Matt says that he gets overly sexualized a lot and doesn't want his comedy, success, or people liking him to be only because of his looks. Now, I understand this. I really do. Men often get sexualized a lot online. Some of it I would consider just blatant verbal harassment. I've dealt with my fair share of this. Unfortunately, I find a lot of times it's not taken as seriously as when women get harassment online. And I'm not trying to play the, well, if this happened and if the world were reversed. I don't want to sound like that person, but generally, people recently have been arguing that Matt has played into this sexualization a lot, so then therefore he should expect to be overly sexualized on the internet, even if that's not what he wants. Okay. Again, I'm sorry to do this, but imagine you just said that to a woman on the internet, right? Well, you've been dressing a little scandalous, so if a guy's gonna say something about your big honkers, I mean, you kind of expect that, right? For example, I like posting thirst traps, and I love joking about sex and stuff because it's just a big part of culture, and it's funny to me, okay? But that doesn't mean I want people to say messed up shit for me, or for people to define my whole career on my looks alone. Believe me, they don't. Again, I'm bringing this up because I personally believe that Matt's disdain for being sexualized online has played a big part in his recent rebrand in his special. Matt has clearly never met a gay man in his life. Oh my God, they will sexualize you out the wazoo. So, another smaller controversy that Matt got into was when he went on a podcast with Trevor Wallace and some other guy, I don't know. They're all guys on the internet, and proceeded to make what some people would claim were body-shaming comments about women's bodies, something that is heavily scrutinized without the help of Matt.
Yeah, it's like, what am I supposed to fuck you or thumb wrestle? Like, I don't know.
I mean, both, honestly.
I don't love a giant. I don't want to look down and feel like they're like God left a tag on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a little mattress.
I gotta return to sender.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's a mattress thing. You can't take it off. You just put it in your mouth and call your dad and say I'm sorry.
Sometimes it looks like they have a zipper on there. I have to like unveil a real bad bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like it. Dude, sometimes you gotta wake up on a Tuesday and suck a.
Here's the thing. I'm not pussy shaming. It intimidates me.
There are a few other questionable things that Matt has said and done in the past, but none got to the scale of his most recent scandal that we are going to get into. Everyone seems to have a special nowadays. Curtis Connor, Noel Miller, and that is all I'm able to name. But you've seen it too, come on. There's been a recent uptick in specials being released. It's a holiday season where we start by celebrating stealing indigenous people's land, everyone is home, and getting fat, so it's a perfect time to watch a 1 hour long comedy special. Matt's special here is very, very special. Matt Rife's Netflix special has recently gotten more hate than love online after it's released on Netflix. What for? Let's watch the clip.
I've only been to Baltimore one time. I ate lunch there, and the hostess who seats you at the restaurant had a black eye. It was full black. It wasn't like, what happened? It was pretty obvious what happened. And we couldn't get over the fact that we were like, this is the face of the company? Like, this is what you have greeting people? Will Smith was like, yeah, I feel bad for her, man. I feel like they should put her in the kitchen or something. Where nobody's seeing her. I was like, yeah, but I feel like if she could cook, she wouldn't have that black eye. Test the water, see if y'all are gonna be fun or not. Figure we start the show with domestic violence. The rest of the show should be pretty smooth sailing out.
All right. Now, I know every time I talk about stuff like this, the dark humor crowd loves to come for me. All right, hold your pitchforks and knives and flamethrowers and M16s. I don't know what people in America are getting a hold of nowadays. Let's break the delivery in this joke down a little bit. The entire punchline, get it, punch? Now I'm turning into him. I'm sorry. The whole joke is punching down onto a more, for lack of a better term, oppressed group of people. It's taking women who statistically suffer more from domestic abuse than cis men do, and making the joke about the fact that she got punched. Can you do that? Sure. No one is telling you can't do things. No, literally no one is stopping you from doing that. You have a little special on Netflix. I think you're a pretty privileged position here, Matty boy, okay? Sure you can do this, but don't get upset when people don't like it. Not everyone is going to like this type of humor. That's okay. I don't think you're a bad person if you think it's funny. We just disagree. As someone who has witnessed domestic violence and who has been abused, which I'm not going to get into right now, I personally don't find this funny. I don't know why it is found funny by some people, the whole bit being that someone got hit in the face. I don't know why that's funny to some people. I don't know, but here's the thing. I have definitely laughed at dark shit in the past that a lot of you might find offensive personally. Am I a bad person because I laughed at it? No, I don't think so. We just have different stuff that makes us laugh, that makes us tick, if you will. I know all comedians play a character. Hell, when I'm making a video, I am technically playing a characterized version of myself. So I'm not just going to sit here and say that Matt is a misogynist or that even the joke is misogynistic in itself. It's just poorly written, in my opinion. I say this all the time. I sound like a broken record, but you have to be funny in order to make dark subjects funny. The whole reason for dark humor was to make your own trauma, turn that around and make it funny. Which of course is okay. If someone tried to, do the old do, and they failed and they're making jokes about it, let them make jokes about it. Who cares? But when someone else is making a joke about someone else who has done that to themselves, it can be tricky towing the line of where is too far and when is it not funny. Like I said, I love dark humor, but it doesn't hit it for me. And to be quite honest, in the world of comedy, this joke isn't even that dark. It's just more so confusing to me. Because the other thing about this joke is that we can assume that a decent amount of women would not find it funny. But I'd say most of them wouldn't. And who is Matt's primary audience? Women. Females! That's the part of this that's confusing to me. I can even remove myself from the situation and admit that maybe the joke is funny in a kind of shocking way, like, whoa, he said that sort of way. But why would a guy whose primary audience is women want to make a joke about women getting hit for not doing some dishes, right? And then taking a sexist stereotype of women belonging in the kitchen and making a joke about that. The other thing about Matt is I don't think he's known online as someone who has very, very dark humor. I'm talking like post-South Park level dark humor. So for him to be taking this kind of turn and turning into another, they can't tell jokes anymore, what happened to the world type of comedian, it's kind of sad. The thing about people who say this all the time, that you can't tell jokes anymore, they're always the most privileged people who actually can tell jokes, who have specials and sold out tours. And then they want to act like they are being victimized for making a joke that is borderline offensive to a lot of people. Now is the perfect time to interject and say that about a week ago, Matt did go on the Jordan Peterson podcast to talk about him being canceled over this joke, something that I don't think has actually happened. I don't think he's being canceled at all. I think that people were criticizing him for the joke in his special and were giving him actual criticisms, and some of his audience was offended. And instead of taking that and saying one thing or the other, right? Saying, listen, I don't really want to target people anymore who are going to be offended by stuff like this. So if you don't like it, you don't like it. Instead of doing that, he doubled down, is tripling down now, and is now going on Jordan Peterson's podcast, which I'm not going to do a whole expose on Jordan Peterson right now. He has said and done a lot of questionable things, and a few things that I have covered on my channel that I personally consider to be actually atrocious, considering the one tweet he made about Elliot Page like over a year ago. He's not a great guy. He's associated with the Daily Wire, which, again, I'm not going to do a whole expose on the Daily Wire. There's a lot of bad things associated with that company. So he goes on Jordan Peterson, does this whole interview. I listened to some of it. The thing is like, Matt is not even that edgy. These jokes are not that edgy. It was just his main fan base felt a little insulted by his recent rebrand. It's just a sudden shift. Like, I get what he's trying to say about people being too offended, whatever. It's comedy. You got to learn to take a joke. I understand what he's trying to say. I really do. It's just a really strange turn of events to suddenly do like a full 180. So weird to go on Jordan Peterson. That's the person you chose. And even Jordan Peterson acknowledged it in the beginning of the interview. You're getting canceled and now you want to come on my podcast to fix it. Like, it just seems like Matt is fully leaning into this right-wing manosphere thing, especially by choosing someone who was associated with the Daily Wire. Strange choice. Again, it's just weird. To me, this is all clearly for controversy. People are mad. I'm personally not like mad. I want you all to know that. I'm not like deeply offended or anything. I just want to talk about it because I think it's a really interesting subject, how we just take this one turn. You know, a lot of people are genuinely offended and upset, though, that he's doing this. So they're talking about him, and he's getting more controversy. He's appealing to the crowd that he wants to appeal to now, people who are going to let him say whatever he wants, and he's not going to get any pushback for it anymore. Matt, throughout this whole thing, has shown a clear goal of redirecting his comedy to men. This is just one part of it. The other thing is, this is honestly kind of offensive to men. Matt is assuming that all men can laugh at is raunchier or more offensive comedy, when that, again, is not the case. Men are not able to just solely laugh at jokes about domestic violence or a woman with crystals and stuff. Hey, wanna see something? Oh, voodoo magic. Oh, I've got crystals. Oh. So, in response to people being upset over some of the jokes in his special, Matt posted an apology to his Instagram stories. If you've ever been offended by a joke I told, here's a link to my official apology he wrote. The link in his Instagram story leads to a medical website that sells helmets for people with special needs. Very original, Matty boy. You get a thumbs up for this chat. Jesus, Matt. Why don't you just call me a fucking But hey, I don't want to judge, even though that's what I just did for 15 minutes. I haven't even watched the full special, and I know a lot of you are going to be mad at me because I haven't. That's right. I'm going to watch Matt's special and give you all my expert funny guy opinions, because I am funnier. Whoa. Let's be fair here. Future me is going to give it a watch and share my opinions with all of you. I'm offended, and I'm horrified, and I think we need to cancel Matt Rife. let's talk about it. I watched the special last night. So obviously we know how Matt starts off the beginning of the show. I just talked about that. We're not gonna get into that. After he starts off the show making that joke, which the rest of the show was not dark at all, I really believe that he put that joke in there to be a sort of outrage, controversial bait for people so that he'd get talked about more. So after he makes that joke, then he starts ranting about women who like crystals. Have people not already covered this over and over and over again? And I'm not saying he can't talk about something because other people have talked about it. I'm just saying it's a tired subject. And he then leads the crystals talk into complaining about women who like astrology. And it is primarily women who like astrology. Another tired trope. Women like astrology, they like crystals and stupid little girl things. Some of the jokes he made were funny. Most of it felt like more of a dig at women who like astrology than making fun of people who don't actually know anything about it and who just blindly follow it. That was funny because people don't know what they're doing. They don't know what we're talking about. But a lot of it just felt like a weird dig at women who like crystals, which again, a tired subject online. It's old. He then goes into a bit about old people, which I found pretty funny. I thought the oxygen kink joke was actually really, really funny. Like, I'm laughing about it right now. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you and say that, like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, a couple of his bits actually made me laugh a lot. Obviously, I want to point out that I'm not a stand-up comedian. I don't even watch that much stand-up, so take all of what I'm saying with a grain of salt. This is just my personal opinion. I just want to... I guess now is a good time to address something that I didn't bring up in the video, which was a lot of people have accused Matt of having a black scent. And you could hear the difference between his natural voice and when he's doing his stand-up. He has a bit of a twang when he talks, but it's like that is heightened tenfold when he does his stand-up. A lot of people have had issues with that. It could be a dramatization of his natural accent, but at the same time, is it really? I don't know. The other one of the other dark jokes that was in this special was he made like a joke about a school. You know what comes after that, right? Like I've made my point in the rest of this video, everyone finds different things funny. I'm sure there's people who heard that joke and they were like, oh my god, it's so dark, you can't say that, right? And I get it. And people are, like I said, everyone's gonna find different things funny. I didn't find the opening joke funny, but I did find that funny. I thought the bit with him finding the adult magazines in his stepfather's closet was really funny. Towards the end, he did like this whole bit with social media, how much he hates it and stuff, which he has reiterated a ton of times, and now he's facing backlash. It's just an excuse, in my opinion, to be like, well, you know, everyone on social media is really mean and annoying, and they just want to complain, so I don't really need to listen to this criticism I'm getting, right? I mean, like, in a certain sense, I agreed with what he said. A lot of people online are they just want to complain about literally everything. Stuff that doesn't matter. I think people have a valid reason to critique his jokes. That's okay to do. It's different. Again, it's different if people are going online and insulting him personally and saying, making up things about him and whatever to add on to this shitty joke he told. If people are just criticizing the material, cool your tits, okay, Matt? Again, towards the end, he talks about how, I thought this was funny, he talks about how he has a therapist, and his therapist has said that Matt is very defensive. Hey, brother, we can tell. At the end, he's talking about this whole plane bit. It's another part of the special that people criticize, and how he put his backpack under his seat and not the seat in front of him, which you're supposed to do on an airplane. And how the flight attendant was like being really weird about it and was like, well, you have to put it over there, right? Whatever. He says that he posted about this on Twitter, and that this one woman kept tweeting at him and was being really aggressive towards him and saying some really personal stuff towards him. And he replies to her and makes a joke about, like a fat joke towards her on Twitter, about how, well, if she wasn't taking up 2 seats on the plane, then he wouldn't have to put his backpack under his seat or whatever, right? It's another low blow. It's just like a low blow form of comedy. You're picking on, like, people who already are picked on a lot. It's just kind of a little... I understand what he was saying, that I did not miss the point of his joke for all the people who are going to yell at me. I understand. This person was being really mean to him. He says one thing back that's, you know, mildly offensive, and then the whole world melts down in tears. I get what he's trying to say. I just feel like it was a low blow, and putting it in his special was another low blow. At the end of the special, he does this thing where he's like, but I just do crowd work, right? And then he, like, drops the mic. And I'm like, is it really a mic drop moment, though, Matt? The special was okay. Like, again, I'm not the expert on stand-up comedy, but a lot of it felt very underdeveloped to me watching it. Like, I have watched other stand-up specials. There's a difference between comedians who have been doing it for a really long time, and you can tell when it seems like this is like their first time, and it's weird because this is definitely not Matt's first rodeo. He's been doing it for over 10 years, and it just seemed like this was like his first stand-up show, just in general. I know it's not his first special, it's not his first stand-up show, it just felt underdeveloped, and I haven't watched his other specials, so I have nothing to compare it to. Base level stand-up, just like, okay, all right, what else? You know, that's how I felt when I was watching it. Again, I laughed at a couple of things. I could see why people like him. He is a decently funny guy, but it's just like, it was just like, That's my opinion on the special. If you watched it, please let me know what you think. If you didn't watch it, you can still let me know what you think, but I really want to hear what other people think who actually watched it. I'm not going to be mean to you, as long as you're not mean to me. Just like Matty Boy said. So, yeah. Maybe you've noticed, especially over the past couple of years, I'd say post-2016, almost like something happened in 2016 that would have changed the course of America. I don't know, I'm not a historian. Quite possibly you've noticed that a lot of comedians love to say offensive shit and use dark humor as a reason for why they can say it. I mean, I can't even make a satirical joke about these people right now because I'm afraid that YouTube will get really mad at me if I do. There's something inherently much more powerful about comedy and satire when you're using it to point out something about the people in power that needs to be pointed out, says comedian Sarah Cooper, who rose to fame in 2020 for social media videos parodying then President Donald Trump. Current President Donald Trump. If you're trying to point out something about people who don't actually have a lot of power, I don't find a lot of gratification in that. And everyone, let's not sit here and act like comedians don't have an effect on people, and a political and social effect. Let's take this for example. If Dave Chappelle, for example, we all probably know about Dave Chappelle, makes a joke about being transphobic. Is he just playing a character and joking? Sure, maybe he is, but is what he's saying also resonating with actual transphobes who will use his comedy as a form of hate? Absolutely. It's a tricky line to walk when offensive comedy is your only form of comedy. Stand-up comedy has historically been a male-dominated field. Only recently have women been able to penetrate the industry. We are slowly infiltrating the boys' club, and if I say to myself, making it less aggressive and more approachable. And yet, if you look at a lineup of any major comedy club, it is predominantly male, and it remains a hostile environment. We're forced to listen to men make jokes about their penises and complain about their nagging girlfriends. If I had $1 for every time I've heard a male comedian make fun of the way his girlfriend's vagina smells, I can make a living as a comedian. This is what gets me about Matt's special. It's nothing new. In one section during the special, he does a whole bit on women who like astrology. And I just think to myself, haven't we heard this all before, right?
Woman thinks that Mercury controls her emotions. Maybe she's just on her period, right, fellas? Crystals, right? Oh, she shove a crystal up there. Oh.
I asked myself, did Matt even have any jokes prepared for the special before signing the deal with Netflix? Because it feels like he really didn't. The next part I'm going to get into is dark, and I just want to preface this by saying that I am no way alleging that Matt is connected to this part of the comedy sphere or anything like that, but I think his strange turn can lead us into a conversation about some more serious problems with the comedy industry, like the essay problem that it has. There is the real threat to our safety, the frequency with which female comedians are harassed, groped, or R-worded by their male counterparts. If you're a woman who's been harassed in comedy, even if you just talk about what happened, people will perceive you as being some sort of cancel culture advocate, explains performer Kate Willett. She notes that even the personal decision to withdraw from lineups featuring suspected predators is effectively a self-own. The choice is deciding to remove ourselves from opportunities. If we could just look at the startling amount of male comics who have been accused of SA, or even worse, and have actually been convicted and or admitted to SA. Let's take a couple examples here, and some of them have, again, admitted to it or been convicted. Some of them, they're just allegations at this point. James Franco, Louis C.K., Bill Cosby, Brian Callen, Jeremy Piven, Chris D'Elia, and most recently, Russell Brand. This is, of course, not an exhaustive list. There's probably more of them. All of these men have been accused of some of the worst things possible, and yet they are pardoned with ease in the comedy industry. And of course, Hollywood in general likes to put these men on a pedestal, but today's focus is comedy, of course. So where does that leave Rife? He may not have cracked jokes about R word or making women's eyes water through oral sex, but that doesn't make him exempt from the wider problem at hand. Perhaps the point of all this is to recognize how one joke about crystal girls leads to another about drunk girls, and then another about their ethnicity, then their body, and so on. It's all part of the same culture of misogyny. And within this framework, that we needed to think carefully about the way male comedians are talking about women, because you can only poke fun at a certain type of behavior so often before normalizing the poking. Then before you know it, you become part of the problem that you were trying to satirize. And there is unfortunately no shortage of female comedians speaking up about harassment that they faced in the industry. For them, it's just a day-to-day thing. With about 2/3 of women experiencing some form of SA or sexual harassment at some point in their lives, I would not be surprised if a lot of Matt's female fans felt discouraged seeing this special, since statistically speaking, a lot of them are likely to have experienced SA. It's sad to see him take such a weird turn with his comedy, but like I said, this is nothing new with cis male comedians. Comedy as an industry, both in its live and media forms, continues to be male-dominated, and so these power imbalances are gendered. Women and non-binary comedians encounter sexually abusive behavior and misogyny on the circuit with startling regularity. But there's something that can make the industry a particularly toxic environment: the comedy itself. The interactions baked into the live comedy industry, both on and off stage, make it simultaneously easier for those in power, mostly men, to obscure sexually aggressive behavior and misogyny, and harder for women to speak up against it. Working in isolation makes women more vulnerable to exploitation and prevents them from sharing experiences. This makes it harder to identify and address problems. The lower status of women entering the industry, at a disadvantage after years of unquestioned male dominance, the fact that they would almost always be the only women amid a male lineup in the late-night context of their works, builds in opportunities for mistreatment and abuse. Comedy is often about pushing boundaries, saying the unsayable, and engaging with taboos. As such, some problematic behavior easily becomes normalized or masked with humor, which I think is what a lot of dark comedians like to do. They use their comedy as a guise for their very real bigotry that they have. Again, not saying that Matt is a misogynist or anything. I've seen not much to really back up that claim, except for a few offhanded comments he's made that were definitely questionable. But other than that, the joke is just in poor taste, in my opinion. Women are unfunny prudes if they speak up, or bitches if they stand up for themselves. If they're quiet, they're emotionless. If they're too loud, they are too emotional. There is no winning, especially in the comedy sphere, where female comedians are especially scrutinized by their male counterparts, and even by other women. Unfortunately, all we can continue to do is call out those in power, the men and others who normalize sexism within their comedy, and who perpetuate a culture that is ripe for the mistreatment of women. I don't think Matt is a bad person by any means, but his recent rebrand is confusing to me, and like I said, leads into a bigger problem with comedy as a whole. You can joke about anything. I strongly believe that you can joke about anything, okay? But you've got to be good at it. If any of you have watched his special, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about anything that I covered in this video. Dark humor, the joke itself, Matt in general. I don't care. Comment anything you want to comment down below. Just be nice about it, okay? I have feelings too. And when you come on here and you say really mean things to me, I'm going to block and report you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh my god. I know I'm going to get those comments saying, well, if you don't like the joke, if you're too sensitive, just don't pay attention to it. Okay. Fuck off. Anyway, that is it for this video, and that's it for me. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like me, you can subscribe. I post comedy and commentary videos every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern, so if that sounds like your thing, make sure to subscribe and turn the notification bell so you know when I post a video. Again, I really hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you got a good laugh out of it, and more importantly, I hope that I see you in the next video. I better.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.